did that sound? Well, I'm just learning.
How's that go like that time, buddy?
Hey, wait up! Here we go. And there. Now you can't roll away. What? They're coming back? The kids? Did you hear that, Wilson? The kids are coming back. We have a lot of work to do. Let's go. Oof, I am so excited for students to be back in the building after what seems like eternity. My name is Mrs. Anderson. I am the high school principal. You can find my office right off of the commons, the new commons where you eat lunch or breakfast, right through the south doors. If at any time you have any questions once school starts, my door is always open. I will always take time for students. If it means I have to work until 10 o'clock that night, I'll work until 10 o'clock because the best part of what I do is working with students. And leading up to school, if you have any questions on how things work or information you heard during this video and you're not quite sure how it works, send me an email or stop by. I'm happy to help. Again, because I love my job and I do what I do because of you. Now, in the next 35 to 40 minutes, we're going to throw a lot of information at you. So buckle up because here we go. Welcome to the class of 2026. That is the year you graduate. It may seem like it's in a far off distance now, but I guarantee it's going to go pretty fast. Here is just some high school stuff that's important for you to know that help set you up for success as you start your 7th grade year. Lunch. Lunch you pay in the office or online just as you did in elementary school. Your lunch number is the same 4 or 5-digit number that you had in elementary as well. If you can't quite remember your number, it's on your schedule, or you can stop in the high school office and we can certainly look that up for you. Breakfast is served daily from, I'd say 7's a little early, probably 7:30 to 8:15 in the morning. And you eat right in the commons. For lunch, we do have seconds available, but you want to make sure that you have money in your account. Some days we don't have seconds available. It just depends on the popularity of the item that day. Wiener Ring days in the high school are particularly very popular. We also have a school store that's open at lunch and again after school. We're not going to be opening it to start the school year, but I'm hoping soon that we can have that store opened. We sell things such as healthy snacks, a couple days a week after school. We sell pizza before practices. We sell beverages, and the most favorite product, I would say, the most popular one is the chocolate shakes. Also on a normal school year, between 2nd and 3rd period, we have a built-in 9-minute morning snack period where we would sell cheese snacks or granola bars at cost. This year, due to the condensed schedule, we won't be having a morning snack break, but we hope to bring that back in again next year. Supplies that you would need. The students will either have health or physical education the first semester. A semester runs until mid-January is the first semester, and then second semester starts mid-January and goes until the end of the year. If you have physical education to start, you're going to want to bring some gym clothes and shoes. Most often you'll be outside, and it's a good chance for you to get that mask off during the school day. You'll probably want to bring some long sleeves and pants, depending on the weather. Pens and pencils, highlighters, and you can read through that list. Some items I'd like to draw your attention to are the notebooks and folders, and you notice we prefer that you have color-coded notebooks and folders. The reason we do this is to help you stay organized. So you go to your locker, you grab your red folder and your red notebook, and you head to math. This is so you can do it efficiently and again, help you stay organized. Communication. Teachers do have a classroom phone, but email would be the preferred method for communication based on availability during the school day. Cell phone use. This is a question we get quite a bit in the high school. Can we have cell phones out in class? And the answer typically is no, unless the teacher specifically asks you to bring it out for a reason. The reason we do this is because if you have your cell phone in your pocket and it goes, it vibrates during class, your learning and your focus shifts from the board and the classroom and what you're learning to, I wonder who called me, I wonder who texted me, I wonder what's going on. If there's an emergency, parents can certainly contact the high school office and we can track you down right away. You'll notice that most teachers have a garage, what they call a garage, in their classroom near their entrance. So when you enter, if you do decide to bring your phone to class, you'll put your phone in an assigned spot. That way you're not tempted, you're not distracted at all. And then at the end of class, you can pick it up on your way out the door. Students do have email accounts. It's the same email as you had in elementary. It's the year you graduate, so 26, your first initial, and your last name at holly.k12.mn.us. And remember that these are school accounts and we do have access to them. So you want to make sure that you're using them appropriately. Now, when you read an email, it's important that after you're done with it, you delete it if you don't need it. That way your inbox doesn't stay cluttered. Or maybe you want to create folders. So if it's correspondence for math class from Mr. Meese, you have a folder for just math and you can file it right there to look back upon later. And new this year, something I'm pretty excited about, is bus GPS. So all of our buses will have GPSs on them. It's our hope that by sometime next week before school starts, we'll be able to send out a link for parents to look. They can pull up the routes and see exactly where they are. So you could pull up the routes and see, okay, but Route 6 is about 2 blocks from my house. I better get my stuff on and head outside for the bus. Or maybe you have a cross-country meet in Detroit Lakes. A parent can pull up that app or that link and they can say, okay, the bus is in Lake Park. I better head up to school and pick up my child. So it's going to be a really nice tool and a resource, I think, for parents to use. Absences. Now, we know from time to time that students are going to have to miss school. Maybe it's for an appointment, which hopefully they can get done before school or after school, but that doesn't always happen. Or a student is sick or has something else that they have to tend to. Make sure that a parent calls or emails Terry in the high school office. And then upon return, if a parent decides to call instead of email, bring a note to the office just so we have it for documentation purposes. Our full attendance policy could be found in the student handbook. Now, if a student misses more than 5 days in a quarter, we require those hours to be made up on an hour-for-hour basis through our Sparks program, which we'll talk about later. But really, learning happens within these school walls. We want students to be here and be present as often as possible. Schoolwork. Student or parents can email the teachers if they're going to be gone for an extended period of time. Maybe they're going on a family vacation, or maybe they're taking off a day early for a grandparent's house before Thanksgiving or something like that. Now, we are using Google Classroom as our learning platform, regardless of the scenario we're in. So this should be a pretty easy process for students to follow this year. But it's nice for the student to make that contact with the teacher if they're going to be gone again for an extended period of time, maybe a week again on a vacation. I'll let Mr. Esterby talk about the Sparks program a little later. But one benefit of the Sparks program is snacks are provided and they're free. Plus, you get some adult help with your homework. Report cards and eligibility. Quarterly report cards are available on JMC. Now, we don't email those report cards out anymore in the high school, but our grades on JMC, I would say our teachers are pretty good at updating those and update them on a weekly basis. And as a student, if you see something that maybe you thought you turned in and it's not showing up on JMC, go ahead and reach out to the teacher. Or you see a grade was perhaps entered wrong, again, reach out to your teacher. Eligibility reports in the high school come out every 3 weeks. And this is more for activities. So if a report comes out and you have a D and 1 F or an incomplete, you would be incomplete or ineligible to compete for 1 week. We would still expect that you're attending practices, but you wouldn't be able to participate in any contests during that time frame. The eligibility period runs from Wednesday to Wednesday. One thing that's unique to 7th graders is for the first 3 weeks of the school year, we don't enter any grades into JMC. This is mainly a trial run before we hit the ground running after the first 3 weeks of school. We want to make sure that we have systems in place to support you, that you understand how things work in the high school, and that you can learn how to organize and learn how to prioritize and learn how to motivate yourself, because ultimately you're responsible for your learning. So those first 3 weeks, we don't enter any grades, and it's a good chance for you to get acclimated to your new settings. Discipline. Honestly, the kids at Holly High are pretty well behaved, but every once in a while, kids make mistakes, and it's really important that we learn from those mistakes. Now, the first time that there's a behavior that's not appropriate, you're going to get a mulligan. I'll talk to you, and I expect that behavior to change, because ultimately you're responsible for you. Now, if that doesn't happen, parents will be involved. Might be a meeting that we have, or we get them on a conference call with the teacher. And eventually it might take us a couple runs at it, but we'll get that behavior rectified and get you headed in the right direction. One area where we draw a hard, fast line would be when it comes to substitute teachers. And we have a fantastic roster of subs here at Holly High. Now, if a sub happens to send you down to the office due to behavior, you will be asked to leave school for the rest of the day. The reason we do that is that we have subs in our building, and they're here to help you, and we expect your behavior to be even better when we have subs in the building. And a few basic rules to help set you up for success in high school. Be where you're supposed to be and be there on time. Now, we understand the first week or two of school, it's a high learning curve. So you might be a minute or two late to class, not a big deal. But after that, cut down the lollygagging in the hall and get where you're supposed to be. Probably most importantly, treat others with great respect. Every student, I'm very passionate about this, every student that walks through these halls and enters these doors deserves to be treated with respect and welcomed and feel safe. And if you're taking away from that from somebody else, we're going to have a discussion. How do you want to be remembered after you leave these doors? Do you want to be remembered as someone who is kind and a hard worker and nice to all? I'm hoping the answer to that is yes. And lastly, always give your best and honest effort. If you do these things, you work hard, you treat others with respect, you're going to have a great high school career and learn some things along the way. Get involved. We have a myriad of activities for students. And I think there's something for everybody. You can see on the bottom of that slide, students who are involved in co-curricular activities are more engaged and perform better in school. I really encourage you to try something that's maybe out of your comfort zone. Maybe you like it and maybe you don't, but give it a shot. Activity logistics. And I think now is the time to meet our new activities director, Brett Schmidt.
Hi, 7th graders. I'm Mrs. Schmidt, the Activities Director. And just like you, I'm brand new to Holly High School this year. Good news is, being a part of a club, activity, or sport is a great way to make new friends, make new connections, and just find your groove in a school. Even better news, Holly High School has all sorts of opportunities for you to get involved in fine arts and sports. So I encourage you to get involved as often and as many times as you can, and to become the new golden nugget on one of our teams.
So yes, get involved in activities. Schedules. Schedules were mailed out last week. If you did not receive a schedule, call the high school office or check on JMC. You can log into your JMC account. It's the same username and password as you had in elementary school. If you can't remember your password or your username, email me or stop by my office. It'll take me about 2 seconds to look up for you. Schedules will also be taped onto student lockers. The reason we're doing this is because you might think you have your schedule down, and then on week 2 or after MEA break, you'll come back and can't quite remember what your schedule is. So it's taped right onto your locker inside for you. We also have ordered agendas for every 7th grader. They will be in your locker labeled the first day of school. So please check for those agendas and make sure that you're using them. Our 7th grade teachers do a great job of providing time at the end of class for you to pull out your agenda and write down what you did in class that day. If you had homework, I would suggest maybe highlighting it. When you get it done, cross it out. That way, at the end of the day, you can pull out your agenda and you can see what homework you have, quickly put it in your backpack and head out for the rest of to enjoy your evening. Lockers. Now, I wish I could say that my locker looked like the nice and tidy one when I was in school, but unfortunately mine looks like my desk does today. It's a little bit messy. And that's when things can get lost. So if you're missing an assignment or several assignments, chances are it's crumpled up on the bottom of your locker, along with apple cores and whatever else you have buried in there. So try your best to keep that locker nice and tidy, even if it means coming early and straightening out your locker or staying late after school one day to clean up that locker. It just eliminates the amount of time you have to be at your locker in between classes because you can easily grab your stuff and head off to the next class. And backpacks. On a normal school year, we don't allow backpacks in class. This year, we are going to make an exception, as you wouldn't have to walk to your locker as many times between classes. We have asked the teachers, if possible, and it works for some classes but not all, to send textbooks home with students to keep at home as a resource or to keep the copy in the classroom for students to check out if they need to. That way you're not lugging around 5 books in your backpack during the day. You certainly don't have to use those backpacks and bring them to class, but it's an option for you. And speaking of backpacks and class locations, I think now is the time for a tour. This is the door where you enter on the south side of the building, right to the commons. Obviously the tables aren't set up today, but they will be for the first day of school. And your lunch will be served in the commons, and it'll be just 7th graders to start with eating lunch at that time. Then you'll see the hallway. This is the downstairs hallway. Most of the classes for 7th grade, actually all of them, are on this main level, so you don't have to go up the stairs at all. 7th grade lockers, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade this year, to make sure that we keep kids spaced out. So on the corner here, there are 3 7th grade classrooms. You'll have Mrs. Skank for science, Mrs. Rodenbiker for English language arts, and Mr. Pashy for social studies. This year, these hallways will be one way, clockwise. But if you have English, social, or science back to back, you're welcome just to hop on over to the next classroom. Continuing on, it's just one big square, I would say. Coming up on to the math classroom with Mr. Meese. Math students, Mr. Meese's classroom. More lockers, which will be 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. There's a little bit of construction, so just pardon the mess. Those would be the district office doors. And coming around here, again, this will all be cleaned up before school starts with the HVAC project. We circle right back to the commons. And this is where you'll enter for lunch. And then down there is the band and choir rooms and your block classes, which would be your quarter classes like art, facts, ag, and tech. Stairs going up to the 10th through 12th grade classes. Normally we have the school store. We won't be starting with that open, but during lunch and after school, we sell shakes and nutritional options for kids right there. And then walking into the office, these two, if you ever have any questions or aren't sure where to go, what to do, Terry and Rhonda can help you out at any time. That's my office. Stop by anytime, as I'm always there to answer questions. And right next door to me is Mr. Esterby. Let's see if Mr. Esterby is around today.
Hello everyone, this is Mr. Bill Esterby here, school counselor for grades 7 through 9 at Holly High School. Just wanted to introduce myself today and talk a little bit about some of the things you can expect this year at Holly High School. One of the things that I have the privilege of being a part of is our Sparks program at Holly High School. It is an after-school tutoring program in which from Monday through Thursday, you have the opportunity to attend right after school a workspace in which we have some adults and tutors available for you if you need some assistance. But mostly it's a space for you to be able to get work done at the school rather than take it home with you if there's anything that you need to do. There's computers, printer available, and computer tech for what you would need to complete the work you have for your classes, if there is any that you have or would like to stay back for. It's open to all grades. You don't need to register, and it is free. There's a little asterisk next to that. This year, it'll be based off of whether or not we are in person. If we go to digital learning and nobody can be in the school at that time, then obviously we won't be able to have that space open in the high school. But if you have any further questions about Sparks or after school tutoring program, students or parents, please feel free to let us know. Give us a call at the high school, speak with myself, Bill Esterby again, or Miss Kelly Anderson, our high school principal, as well as our teachers and staff would know kind of what is going on there with that. If you guys need any assistance at all when it comes to academics, or you yourself may be going through something that you need to talk about, please come on down to the high school office. That's where I'm located, right there in the high school office. If you're not sure where to go, you can talk to one of our amazing secretaries that we have in the office, Mrs. Rasmussen or Mrs. Geary. They'd be happy to point you in the right direction, and all the teachers and staff that we have at the high school would be fantastic at helping you figure things out. We want this to be a smooth transition for you, and we want this to be a great experience for you. We know that this is going to be a little bit different and a little bit more challenging this year with the pandemic that's going on, but we want to support you in the best way that we can. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And remember that we're all going through this together. This is new for all of us. So we definitely want to be there to support you, and we need to be there to support each other as well. So if there's anything that you need to talk about, as a trained counselor, I'm available to you. As well as Mrs. Beauchamps. She is the school counselor for grades 10 through 12, but she's also available, and we want to be there to assist you if there's something that you have questions about, or you just need to talk about and get off your chest. There's a lot going on right now, and it's completely understandable that you may be confused or not know what to do or where to go at the high school. Or if you have any questions at all, hopefully you remember my face from last year, and if not, we can reintroduce ourselves through many of the awesome academic experiences we're going to have this year. So looking forward to seeing you guys in person or online. Very excited for this year and looking forward to see you. So with that, I'll turn you over to the next video.
And we're back. Thank you, Mr. Esterby, for that information, which goes right into one of my favorite things to do with 7th grade, and that is teach top 20. Myself, along with Mr. Esterby and our senior high counselor, Lori Beauchamps, present top 20 throughout the year to our 7th graders. It deals with all kinds of things that you may have started to experience or that you'll probably experience in the coming years. Peer relationships, dealing with conflict in a positive manner, procrastination and boredom. We've all been there. I'll do it later, and then before you know it, it gets to be too late. Staying focused, building trust, and dealing with negativity are just a few of the topics that we'll discuss and give plenty of opportunities to grow in the top 20 realm. Parents, please, the number one thing you can do for your child, no, it's not provide a quiet place for them to study, although that's pretty nice. The number one thing you can do for your child is to have and communicate your aspirations for them and to them. What that means is talk about the goals that you have for their future. What do you see them doing next week, in the next month, in the next year, in 5 years? And make sure that you're having continued conversations about that. It's important to know that they understand that you value education and want what's best for them. And communicate regularly. Of course, they come home and you say, "How was school today, honey?" And sometimes you get a ugh or a groan if you're lucky. But asking open-ended questions to allow for them to expand on how their day went more specifically. And we also know that sleep is important, making sure that they're getting to bed in a timely manner, typically between 9 and 10 o'clock, depending on the time they get up, but about 9 hours of sleep is what they recommend for 7th graders. So making sure they're getting uninterrupted sleep, which means limiting that screen time, putting that phone off, turning it off at night. If they use it for alarm, put it on airplane mode. That way they can get a full night's sleep without getting some text message at midnight, because that disrupts the sleep cycle. And follow through on maybe your threats. If you don't get your work done, then we're going to take away Xbox for the week. Instead of just an empty threat, because kids are pretty smart and they'll read right through that, actually follow through and take away that device, whatever it may be, because you hold the cards there. They might be mad at you, they might throw a tantrum, they might throw a fit, but they'll understand, hopefully, in 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 years, that you had their best interest in mind. And not to be doom and gloom here, but make sure you know what they're doing on social media. There's a lot of predators out there. I've been to a lot of workshops where they talk specifically about this, about the types of games that they're playing, the types of things that they're exposed to. And it might even be video games that you buy at Walmart that you think, well, these are fine. Their rating's fine. And then if you actually sit down and watch what they're doing, they could be exposed to some pretty rotten things. And then talk about the dark web. There are definitely predators out there targeting that age group, that vulnerable age group, to try to lure them in. So just make sure you know their passwords and what they're doing on their social media and on their smartphones or the internet. You can track their history. There's all sorts of apps for that. And I would encourage you to do that. And we're almost done with this part. Internet access form is important. I did send that home via Instant Alert a couple weeks ago. If you didn't fill that out, make sure that you do so now, or email me and I can resend it to you. Medication, Addie Harms is our school nurse. Same within the elementary. She does a fantastic job. She is the contact for any kind of medication that we need to keep or perhaps administer at school. Locks and lockers. You saw the junior high hallway, the 7th through 9th grade hallway. I'd say about 99% of those kids don't keep combination locks in their lockers. We do have cameras in all of our hallways, and typically things are pretty safe in the locker. If something disappears, it might be a pencil, and typically it's a peer that takes it. But I can track down what's missing if something goes missing out of your locker. But the FIAD locker is another story. Combination locks are available in the high school office for $5, and they're yours to keep. And I would strongly encourage you to use a combination lock on your FIAD locker. The reason for that is we do not have cameras in the locker rooms for obvious reasons. And there's a high traffic area. We have activities all the time where kids from other schools are going in and out of that locker room, and things can very easily go missing. Even if you're in a 45-minute FIAD class, and you think, I don't need to lock my locker, lock it up. Again, we have kids going out of there all day long. And the moment you've been waiting for, the teacher introductions. We have a wonderful staff put together for the 7th graders. They do a fantastic job of getting you started off on the right foot. They're very well educated and do a great job at taking care of you and ensuring that you have a great and successful year. So here we go.
Sorry, I was lost in my favorite book. You can probably guess that I am your English teacher. My name is Miss Rodenbiker. That's Road and Bike-er. Welcome to my classroom. You can probably guess that we're going to be doing a lot of reading in English class. And that's true. I've got a lot of great books picked out for us to read this year. One of them is Chew on This. Another one is called I Am Malala. But in addition to reading, we're also going to be doing a lot of writing, speaking, and even listening in this classroom. So what should you bring to English class every day? Well, of course, you're going to need to bring your 2 yellow English notebooks. It's important that you bring your English folder and a writing utensil every day. But unique to my classroom is I'd like you to bring whatever book that you're reading. So if by chance you get done with an assignment early, you can always have something to do that's productive and that doesn't disrupt your classmates. Every day looks a little bit different in my classroom. Some days we write persuasive arguments, some days we discuss literature in literature circles, we listen to podcasts, we give speeches on things that are important to us. A couple years ago, I had a student who gave a speech on chocolate chip cookies. But no matter what we are doing, we're learning about the power of language and how we can use that power to achieve our goals. If you're feeling a little bit nervous about starting 7th grade, that's totally okay and totally normal. I felt the same way when I was entering 7th grade too. And I have a few pieces of advice for you. The first one is to be an advocate for yourself. The second piece of advice is to be authentic. If your favorite thing in the entire world is hula hooping, be proud that your favorite thing in the entire world is hula hooping. Clearly it's not my favorite thing in the entire world. And my third piece of advice is to be kind. Now, between today and the first day of school, I'm going to be in here quite a bit, getting things ready for you guys to come in September. And I'll tell you guys more about this on the first day of school, but I'm someone who loves sweets and desserts, and I always ask my students for their recommendations as I'm trying to find the best milkshake in America. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your summer, and I can't wait to meet you.
Hi, welcome to my classroom. My name is Mr. Meese and I teach 7th grade math. I also coach 7th grade girls and boys basketball. This year has the potential to be one of the most unusual years we've ever had for both students and teachers. But that's okay. It presents a new type of problem, but that's what we do in math, is solve problems. And I look forward to working with you to find solutions. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how my classroom operates. I do what is called a flipped classroom. Before I talk about what a flipped classroom is, let me kind of describe what we would consider a traditional model. In a traditional model, students would come into the classroom, sit down, and a teacher would lecture and give notes and examples and definitions while students take notes. Students would then have the opportunity to maybe work on a couple problems in class, but the rest of the problems assigned would be done at home. This would cause a couple issues sometimes. The first issue being, if a student in class had a question or missed something the instructor was talking about, it's very difficult for some students to raise their hand and interrupt what the teacher is talking about. So they may not get those questions answered. They would then go home to try to work on the problems, and if they still didn't get their questions answered, they'd sit down and try to do a problem and not know how to get started. This could cause a lot of stress and anxiety. We've tried to remove some of that stress by flipping those two things, the lecture and the work. So in a flip model, students will watch the video at home. This gives them the opportunity to pause the lecture to write down some important things, or even rewind if they miss something. Then for the homework, students will do that along with activities in classroom, where the teacher or classmates will be available to help them get through the problems they're working on. There are going to be 4 online resources we use during this flipped model. The first is Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is the site where students will go to watch the video. The videos tend to be 10 to 15 minutes in length. In those videos, there are 3 questions embedded. Those questions aren't meant to be difficult or challenging. The questions are there to make sure students are paying attention. If you've watched the material leading up to that question, the question should be fairly simple to answer. One thing I point out to parents and teachers around parent-teacher conferences or before then is if I notice we're not getting very good scores on those videos. We're getting 2 or 3 wrong quite a bit. What that tells me is we probably have other distractions going on. Maybe they're on their device while the video is playing, or they have something else on their computer while the video is playing. I encourage students to have a nice quiet place where they can focus on the video and take notes as needed. I encourage parents to also watch the videos a couple times to see what it will be like and make sure your students are doing the right things. The second online resource we'll be using is MyOpenMath. MyOpenMath replaces the textbook. All the math departments in the high school are using MyOpenMath. Students will have a laptop in class, or if they're distance learning, they can open it up at home and do problems from the site. The thing that's nice about it compared to a textbook is students know the result to a problem right away, whether they got it right or wrong. And if they got it wrong, they can go back and reattempt it. We'll explore MyOpenMath quite a bit that first couple weeks of school. The third online resource we'll be using is SumDog. Students might be familiar with SumDog already because it was used in the elementary. SumDog is a site that has math games. The problems given during the games are aligned to the students' abilities. So that allows students to practice those skills that they've previously learned but maybe weren't very good with. The last resource we'll be using is Google Classroom. All teachers in the Holly will be using Google Classroom, and for me, it'll be a place where students can see what's due on a certain day with links to one of those sites, Edpuzzle, MyOpenMath, or SumDog. That's all I have for right now. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and I look forward to seeing you on that first week of school.
Hi there. Welcome to our science classroom. Give you a little look of it. This is a class that you will have all year. And so I'm just going to talk about a few things that we are going to cover and some expectations. We're going to have 4 modules that we go through, kind of 4 different books. The first one is on ecology and the environment. How do living things interact with each other and their surroundings? A couple of things we're going to do in this module is make a fantasy food chain. So you guys will be able to make up an imaginary world as we learn about the food chains and the different parts. Another fun thing we do here is look at the brown tree snake in Guam. It is a serious problem of this invasive species that is overtaking the island of Guam. And we'll talk about the creative way that the United States is trying to figure that one out. Our second module is on cells and heredity. So yes, you will get to build a cell model with this, and we are going to take a look at how those building blocks inside of you work, as well as your DNA and all of the neat things that we are able to do now that we have a good knowledge of DNA. The third module we will look at is your body systems. You will have your body for the rest of your life, and it's really important to me that you understand it. A couple activities we'll do is postcards from each part of your digestive system, as well as you'll write a narrative about the life of a red blood cell and its journey through the body. Our fourth module covers all of the kingdoms of living things. And so we'll take a look at those, take a look at plants and animals and fungus, bacteria, and how they interact with us as well. I've got an incubator and we will grow bacteria as well. So that's another fun one. What do I need from you? For class, I want you to have a green binder, an inch and a half, and some loose leaf paper. That is how I work things here, as well as bring your own writing utensil. I do not provide those for you. So please make sure you have this along. A couple other things I want from you: bring your curiosity. Science is such a neat world, so many things that we are discovering and have yet to discover. So bring your curiosity. We'll talk living things. What do you want to learn about? We can do this. I want you to bring your flexibility. This is an unusual year. I don't have to tell you that. And so I'm going to be trying new things. You guys are going to be trying new things, and sometimes they'll work and sometimes they don't. So we need to bring our flexibility. We need to be open-minded. Bring your good work ethic. Yes, again, this is a different year, but that doesn't mean that I am going to let up on you. I have high expectations because I know you can meet them. And we're going to be doing things differently, but that doesn't mean that we have to put less effort into things. So bring your work ethic. I expect you to work hard in my classroom. And you guys are probably feeling some anxiety, some excitement. What are we going to expect? And you know what? I've got those same feelings too. And so be sure you communicate with me. If you don't understand directions, if if you're not sure what I'm expecting of you, please ask. Please communicate with me. I am not a mind reader. So please make sure that you do that. I'm excited. I'm ready to get this year going. We need to meet our challenges head on. That's the best way I feel it is to go after things. So let's do that. And we'll do it as a team. So I look forward to seeing you guys on that first day of school. Bring your excitement, bring your curiosity, bring your flexibility. And I look forward to a great year.
I'm Steve Pashy. I'll be the 7th grade social studies teacher this year. This will be year number 27 in Holly, so the years roll by. I've been here since 1994. I have a wife, Julie, and 2 boys, George, who's 19, and Ted, who's 16. George graduated from Holly back in 2019. It's been fun to be in the district as a teacher and also have my child come through the system as well. I want you guys just to be relaxed and know that everything's going to be fine. I'm here to help you learn social studies, and there's really nothing to be anxious about. I know this has been a difficult time for everybody moving through this COVID pandemic, but we're just going to take it one day at a time, and we're going to do what we need to. We're going to rally together, and we're going to make the best of this, regardless of which learning scenario we're in, whether we're face-to-face, whether we're doing some sort of hybrid learning, or whether we're doing distance learning. So every day is going to be a day where we'll all be challenged to learn something new, and I think we can learn from each other. I'm standing in front of the Constitution in 7th grade here. We'll be learning about American history, and we'll spend a lot of time talking about this document. So there's 7 articles in the Constitution, and then there are 27 amendments. So the first week of school, we will take what's called the naturalization test. There's 100 questions, civics-related questions that relate to the Constitution, and we'll talk about those and see what you already know and try to enhance what you don't. So it'd be just important, I think, to have a growth mindset coming into time at the Constitution Center, which is out in Philadelphia. In fact, I was out there for 5 consecutive summers at one point just learning more about the Constitution. So I'll be happy to try to share what I've learned with you. A lot of my educational philosophy stems from what I learned at the Constitution Center. Democracies thrive when people have, number one, civic knowledge. So when we study that naturalization test, we'll see what you know about the Constitution and give you some factual information about what's in that document. And then it's also important to deliberate. So there will be topics that we may or may not agree upon. Immigration and taxation and things of that sort. Gun laws can be divisive issues, and so we'll talk about those topics that will relate to deliberation. And then the third piece is civic involvement. So at the very least, I hope when you graduate from high school, it'll be important to you to take the time to vote, put your understanding of social studies into action, and when people are active in their communities and helping one another out, I think that helps our nation to pull together and to thrive. I'm going to probably, in addition to giving you a textbook, give you a little hand copy of the Constitution so you can start looking through that, getting more familiar with that. We'll do a lot of close readings where we read documents and try to pick out key vocabulary terms, and as we do that, I think that'll help you to build your literacy skills. We'll use this book, which is called Reading Like a Historian. It's all about developing literacy in the middle school classroom. So we'll learn about people like Pocahontas and Rosa Parks and Abraham Lincoln and John Kennedy, and the list goes on and on. But as we do those close readings, I want you to learn to become critical thinkers. So one of the things that's important is to make sure that you're getting your information from valid sources. We'll read through some books. You can see My room is covered with pictures once you get in here. And then there's a number of books. This is a book that we read last year at the end of the year on the Civil War called A Nation Divided. And it looked at the Civil War from the two perspectives of the Union and the Confederacy and how that all played out. I spent this summer taking an online course through Gilder Lehrman to learn a little bit more about the Civil War. And I hope to share some of what I learned there with you. And hopefully that'll help you to understand that conflict a little bit better. Hopefully we'll find some areas of common interest and be able to forge those friendships, and it will make the whole school year go a lot smoother. Parents, if you're looking in on this, if you ever have questions, feel free to email me here at the school. That's probably the easiest way for me to communicate. My prep hour will be at the end of the school day. So during 7th period, if you need to get a hold of me, that would be an ideal time as well. But that's what I've got for you. I'm looking forward to getting started again, and want you just to relax and not to fret. Let's just try to focus on the positive and stay in the moment, and we're all going to work through this together, and it should be a lot of fun.
Good afternoon, 7th graders. Just checking out the Trustee Health 7 textbook. My name is Mr. Burcham. I'm going to be teaching some 7th grade health this year. This is my 9th year in Hawley, Minnesota, teaching health and Phy-Ed. This is my 11th year overall of teaching. Looking forward to another year with students. We all know we got some challenges ahead of us. We're going to need a lot of communication in order to complete our learning these days. And fortunately, in health class, that is one of our topics, which I'll get to in a little bit. But again, I'm Mr. Burcham. I'm going to have Health 7 with you. And we got several pieces of information on the board here, just going across, email address, nburcham@hawley.k12.mn.us. It's on the school website as well. We're going to be setting up Google Classrooms, but we're still here in person, likely at the start of the year. And we're going to do everything we can to communicate with you, work through tasks, and learn a ton of material that is relevant to life in Health 7. I have 3 class expectations. I like to keep it pretty simple. They are that we're going to be respectful. So whether we're here in person, we're online, we're on a Google Classroom, we're passing in the hall, whatever it is, we're always going to be respectful. We're going to be respectful of one another, respectful of other people and their things. Make sure we take care of that respect. We're going to be honest. We're going to honestly let you know, hey, here's a deadline or here's a project. This is when it needs to be done. And you're going to be honest as well. Honest among your peers, letting them know what you're going to get done, etc. And I expect that you're going to work hard. We're going to challenge you. We want to help you get better. And to do that, we got to work hard. So there's going to be different tasks. One of the first things we're going to do is write a letter to ourselves. So you're going to write a letter to yourself, and with that, you're going to have to put in some hard work. It'll be really neat when you get that letter back at the end of the semester too. The little time capsule, you can look back and see how that work that you put in paid off and how you developed as a 7th grader. Quickly, just some of the topics that we're hoping to go through in health. Includes goal setting, decision making, communication, stress management, physical health, mental health. Mental health is a big one. Right now, I can tell you too, with this whole pandemic thing, it's sometimes tough, it's overwhelming. And so we need to really work on that mental health piece, managing the stress, etc. Nutrition, also some violence prevention. And it's going to be a learning process for me to teach during a pandemic. Last spring we really got thrown into it, and there was a lot of challenges that we overcame, and now we're going to be doing that with some more preparation or some planning. And so we are really going to be looking forward to a great semester of health class, and I look forward to meeting you. Take care.
Sorry about that, 7th graders. Just working on my TikToking. You probably don't know who I am. I am Miss Brenna. I will be some of your guys' 7th grade health teacher. Just like all of you, this is my first year at the Hawley High School and Hawley Middle School. I'll be teaching health and PE here. I was so bummed when I heard there was no orientation, and I was so excited to meet all of your wonderful faces. But in this video, I'm going to go through expectations that I have for you guys when coming into my classroom, materials you'll need every day, and the topics we will be discussing in class. First, with expectations, I want all of you guys to hold yourselves accountable for bringing all your materials and supplies to class. I want you guys to participate every day in class, whether that's discussions, activities, etc. Now, there's a lot of sensitive topics that go along with health class, but I need a lot of you guys to be mature about it because there's a lot of different opinions on everything. Every day you need to come with a great attitude because my class will be fun as long as we're all ready to learn and ready to help each other out whenever we can. The first day, I will be asking you guys which best way you guys learn. So whether that's by videos, hands-on learning, reading, I just want to know so I can make different activities suitable for all of your needs. Materials. You'll need to come to class with either a pen or pencil, a notebook, and a folder or binder, whichever one you prefer. Just for this class. I need all these, except pen or pencil you can use for other classes, but I need a designated folder or binder and a notebook for class every day. Some topics we will discuss in class is health in general, or what is health, mental health and stress, life skills including decision making, analyzing information, and refusal skills. We'll be going to goal setting, nutrition, physical fitness, into vaping, drugs and alcohol, and much more, as much as we can get in. I cannot wait to meet all of you, and I hope you're having a great summer. Now, enjoy these last couple days, and I can't wait for the first day of school.
Oh, hey, 7th graders, how's it going? My name is Mr. Nats. I'll be your Phy Ed teacher for half of the year this year. It's going to be a little unusual. We've got the hybrid learning. Hopefully sometime during the year we'll be back to school full time. I thrive on relationships with the kids, and that's why I teach, that's why I do what I do, and that's why I coach. You caught me here in my garage. I'm practicing on my horse game. Little do you know that I've been beaten one time in 25 years of teaching in a game of horse. And it was an 8th grade girl by the name of Michaela Weiss, and that's the only time I've been beaten in a game of pig or horse in my Phy Ed classes. If you want a shot at the title, just let me know. We'll go ahead and do it. But what I really want to do today is make you feel welcome here in our school setting. Everything's going to be fluid. We don't know how things are going to work out exactly yet, but we've got great leadership in our teachers with Mrs. Anderson, our principal, the gals Terry and Rhonda in the office. They're super helpful. They'll help you do anything, help you find anything. Just be patient, trust the process. Things will work out just fine. A couple things about Phy Ed class with me is we're going to try to have fun every single day. Okay, and we're going to try to do that and make sure everybody gets an opportunity to do things that they enjoy. You will be asked once in a while to make yourselves uncomfortable with some of the effort you're going to have to put forth, but that's okay. Through that discomfort comes improvement, and we find out what some of our weaknesses are, and we can also identify some of our strengths. Phy Ed should be a great time for activity. We're going to try to get outdoors for most of the time if we can, until obviously the snow flies and it gets super cold. And hopefully by then we have a better system worked out and we can really get going on being indoors with our weight training, with our games, other physical activities, and our physical fitness, of course. One of the things that I will demand from you is that you respect one another and you give each other the time and the space and the opportunity to improve and become better. We are very much involved in social and emotional learning, and we want everyone to be accepted. We want everyone to feel cared for and to feel loved and to belong. And that is very important to me. It's very important to our school district and all of our teachers. And we want nothing more than for you to feel welcome and comfortable and help you with this transition into 7th grade. This is a great place to be. It's a great place to be a teacher, and it's even a better place to be a student. Your teachers will care for you. They will love you. They will give you the respect and the help that you need whenever you need it. All you gotta do is show up, ask for it if we don't recognize it, and you'll get whatever you need. You'll be graded on, in my class, you'll be graded on your effort. Not how well you do anything, not how strong you are in lifting weights, not how fast you can run a mile, or how fast you can run a crusher or 2 laps or do push-ups. If you beat me in horse, you're probably gonna get an A, but I can't guarantee that because you gotta have more work to do to achieve or to earn your grade than just being the old guy in the game of horse. Welcome to 7th grade. Come on in. I'll be as welcoming as possible. I'll be a shoulder to lean on. I'll be a guy to ask questions. I may look cranky once in a while, but that's usually just because I might be thinking about something. So I'm just a big old, pretty big old softy. And welcome to 7th grade, guys. It's gonna be a blast. Gotta be patient and you gotta be respectful. Thanks a lot. Have a great year. I'm looking forward to getting back in there. I've missed all my students. Have a great day.
Oh, hello there, 7th graders. I'm Mr. Johnston, the choir and vocal music teacher here at Holly High School. You and I have something in common. We're both new to Holly High School. This is my first year as a teacher and your first year as a student. Now, if you're like me, you're probably feeling some excitement, but also some nervousness and uncertainty in this crazy time. But don't worry, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. So, what can you expect from choir? You can expect to learn a lot about music. Notes, rhythms, dynamics, articulations, solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, and so much more. You're here to sing, and we'll do plenty of that. We'll work on singing together as an ensemble, but also working on our own individual vocal technique. We'll do a lot of creating in choir. Not only are we going to sing our own music and practice our basic skills, but we're also going to create our own music through composition and improvisation. Choir is a great place to learn about the world. We'll sing lots of different music, and while doing so, we'll learn about history and culture and language and so much more. Choir is a place where we can develop skills that you use in all aspects of your life. Teamwork, communication, critical thinking, community building. We'll do that all in choir. The most important thing you need in choir is yourself, and that includes your instrument, your voice. You'll also need your own black folder. Just a normal black 2-pocket folder works just fine. In a time when public health is so important, we won't be sharing any music or folders in choir this year. And lastly, you'll need your trusty pencil. Choir is more than a class. When you join choir, you become a part of an ensemble. Just like a sports team or a club, everyone relies on each other to commit to the group. This means you bring your positive attitude every day, you bring your A game, and you honor your commitments to the group, like concerts and events. In this really tough time in the world, one of the best things I think we can do is come together and make music. Junior high choir is split into 2 groups. There's gold choir, which is 7th and 8th grade girls, and maroon choir, which is 7th and 8th grade boys. When we group it like this with similar voices together, we have the best chance of making as much progress as possible. We're not exactly sure which day each choir will meet this year, but we'll know by the first day of school. All choir students will receive a schedule of performances and events on the first day of school. It's really important that once you get this, you put it right into your calendar. Remember, we're more than a class. You're part of an ensemble that relies on each other. Other information like classroom expectations and grading and assignments and attendance will all be included in the syllabus that each student will receive on the first day of school. And you can also find that on the Holly Choir Google site and on Google Classroom. Now that I've gotten all that information to you, let's take a tour of the classroom. It's going to look a little different because right now we're in the middle of summer band lessons, but let's still take a look. I'm excited to meet all of you soon and welcome you to Holly High School and to Holly Choir. We'll sing a lot of great music, we'll learn a lot, and we'll have a lot of fun too. So have a great rest of your summer, and I'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Johnson. I'm the new band teacher at Holly High School. I'm super excited to be here. This is my first year of teaching. I just graduated from Concordia College and I'm from Fargo originally. So I'm not too far from home, but I'm still new here. Anyway, I can't wait to get to work making some music with you guys. And I think it's time to go find Mrs. Klingfist. I think I hear her. Mrs. Klingfist, Mrs. Klingfist, hey!
Oh, hey, what's going on, Mr.
Hey.
Johnson?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, oh, I almost forgot. We have that orientation thing, right?
Oh yeah, 7th grade orientation.
Okay, well, I guess we've got a lot to tell them.
Yeah.
All right, look at this. Little plastic covering. We'll all get one of those for our instruments. The only person that probably wouldn't would be the percussion.
That's
and
right.
a flute player here or there.
Yep.
They have these big plastic shields. You see those? All right, so that will help any droplets for the flute players. All right, next thing. Oh yeah, we assign lockers. Everyone gets their own locker with a padlock, so you'll have to memorize a padlock. You cannot bring a padlock from home. Next thing, practice journals will be due on Mondays, just as they have been in the past. Oh, and you'll have weekly lessons with Mr. Johnson. All right. And, oh, we should mention the concert schedule. It's on hold, meaning we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully with this pandemic, everything will clear up. The band and choir schedule, every day, it will be posted weekly. So it will be outside in the hallway. If you're in band and choir, it will affect you. If you're just in band, you'll be here with me every day, 7th period. Oh, and we usually do a fundraiser in the fall, a couple of them. We still plan on doing those. One of them is the magazine sales, and the other one are the coupon books that you've seen before. So,
Right on. Rock on. Go Nuggets.
all right.
See you soon.
Oh, hi. My name is Mrs. Hager. I am the art teacher at Holly High School, and I look forward to meeting you. We will be starting, the school year in a very interesting way, I'm sure, but we will still be doing things as traditionally as we possibly can in the classroom. Those things include working with many art materials or mediums. An art medium is something like graphite or pencil, acrylic paint, watercolor, clay, hopefully. Clay is one of my favorites. It's kind of fun to see what you can create with clay. So hopefully you're looking forward to that as well. What am I asking? I'm just asking that you come prepared and you're excited to learn and you're ready to learn. So some things that you will need. Hopefully you can bring these things with you on the first day of class. That would be awesome. Those things include a plastic cover. Maybe it looks like an ice cream lid, but these work great. So a plastic lid, this will actually be our paint palette. So we will mix paint and whatnot on here, okay? So Frisbees work really great too. So if you have a Frisbee laying around or a plastic lid, if you only have lids that are smaller in size, that's fine. Just if you can bring in 2, that would be better. So you have some room to work. A plastic dish. So you can see this is a sour cream container. Something about this size, then it fits in the cubby and that kind of thing, but no glass, please. I don't want anyone getting hurt if it is to break. All right, and then 2 squares of tin foil. So the tin foil needs to be larger than your paint palette because, make some noise here, when you put the paint on there and then at the end of class, we want to make sure that the paint is preserved and ready for the next class. So this works nicely, okay? So 2 squares of tin foil, a number 2 pencil, a couple of those actually, just to have on hand, an eraser, a folder, and gotta get all my stuff here, a sketchbook, okay? So I actually sell these in the art room for $5.50. So if you want to purchase a sketchbook from me, you certainly can. Cash, please, would be great. So $5.50. Just bring that with you, and I will give you a sketchbook when you bring in that money. If you don't want to purchase one for me, that's totally fine as well. Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, of course, online, Amazon, that type of thing. But just make sure it's white drawing paper. Okay. So that was actually what I was busy doing before we started chatting here today. I was drawing. Pretty fabulous, right? That's why I'm the art teacher. All right. So I think that's everything. I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton, but that's kind of everything in a nutshell, at least. So I look forward to meeting you and spending the next 9 weeks with you and seeing what you create. So until then, enjoy the rest of your summer, and I will see you soon.
Oh, hello. My name is Mrs. Olson. I'm the FACS teacher at Holly High School. You know, this year, hand washing is more important than ever. But whenever you're cooking, hand washing has always been important. So there's no change there. I want to welcome you 7th graders to Holly High School. We are so excited to have you this year. And I want to talk a little bit about what I teach. Now, I'm coming to you from my kitchen, but my hope is that we can spend every day, or most days, in the FACS classroom and kitchen. So that's where I hope to see you in the fall. So FACS, what is FACS? Well, FACS stands for Family and Consumer Science. We just shorten it to FACS because that's a whole lot easier. So what is it? It is a 1-quarter class. It's one of your rotating and block classes. So your other rotating block classes are art, tech ed, and ag. So you'll have each of those 4 classes for 1 quarter. Now, you're also going to have these 4 classes in 8th grade, and all students take these classes. For 7th grade FACS, you're going to have that 4th hour this year. Can't wait to see you 4th hour. It's right around lunchtime. What do we cover in FACS? Well, in 7th grade FACS in particular, our first unit is on communication and relationships. After that, we move to sewing and clothing care. And finally, we finish up with foods and cooking. A little bit about sewing. Yes, we do sew in 7th and 8th grade. The reason for that is because it's really important to learn how to follow detailed directions, and it's kind of fun to do a different hands-on activity. So exposing you to that is really important and really fun. We are going to be making a polar fleece hat and a travel pillow. So those are the 2 projects that we hope to squeeze in. Each of the units is 3 weeks. So we have that sewing and clothing care unit for 3 weeks. So we hope to learn about the sewing machine and make those projects. Well, what do you need for this class? It's really important to know. All 7th graders will get a planner, so that's one of the things that you need to bring to class every day. We will emphasize organization and planning, so staying on top of all your subjects is really, really important. For my class, you will need a folder and a pencil as well. As far as sewing equipment, you're going to need 1 yard of polar fleece. So there are different kinds of polar fleece, and I want to show you the difference real quick here. You want to buy the polar fleece that, imagine a winter hat, what would be on the inside of that winter hat. Okay, so not real fluffy, definitely soft, but not super fluffy. This is what you don't want. You don't want something like this, where it's really, really more of a high pile and it's fluffy. Avoid getting that. Okay, because we are making 2 projects, you can get a 1/2 yard of 1 pattern of polar fleece for your hat. And if you want a different pattern for your travel pillow, you can get a 1/2 yard of that. If you don't care that they're the same, then just get 1 yard of the same fabric. And the final thing that you need for my class is, please, a positive attitude. We have lots of fun. Things are gonna look probably a little bit different this year, but we always come to class with an open mind, a positive attitude, and if you can do that, we're gonna have a lot of fun. So if you have any questions for me or concerns, feel free to email me. Again, I'm Mrs. Olson. You can email me at smolson@holly.k12.mn.us. And I really, really look forward to seeing you all at some point this school year. Take care. Bye.
Here I am by the library. It's time for my block class. This must be Exploring Tech with Mr. Swanson. And here's Facts with Mrs. Olson. As I keep going down the hall, here's the art room with Miss Hager. This must be my class, Tech Ed with Mr. Spear.
Hello, you must be my 7th graders. Well, you found the Tech Ed classroom. This is your Tech Ed 7 class, and my name is Mr. Spear. In Tech Ed, what we will be doing this year is doing kind of some exploring. We're an applied science and math class, and we like to do a lot of hands-on stuff. You're going to get that opportunity in your block classes to do that when you take facts. You're going to be doing hands-on things. When you take Exploring Tech with Mr. Swanson, you're going to be doing a lot of hands-on things. When you take art, you're going to get the chance to do a lot of hands-on things. So in Tech Ed 7, we are first going to study a small part of technology, and we're going to do a flight unit where you're going to get a chance to make an airplane that will get a chance to fly, and you're going to go out in the shop and do some things out there with safety, which will lead us into our next project, which will be a CO2 car that we will race in the gymnasium. Now, hopefully, by the time you guys come, that our area that you just kind of witnessed and are seeing in here is all cleaned up and ready to go. On first day of class, I will take you on a tour of the shop, which is primarily the most exciting part of this. And I will do that on the first day, which, however we are, that's what we're going to do. So I'm happy you found us, and I'm happy you found me, and I look forward to seeing you on that first day of school.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to Exploring Technology. Just wanted to greet you. I'm excited going over my class list for the first day of school, and I'm excited about my new 7th grade class that I'm going to have. Exploring Technology, just what it says. We're going to be down in the module lab working with some trainers. Those trainers involve hydraulics and pneumatics, robotics, mechanisms, and industrial controls. And we'll learn a little bit about that with some hands-on activities to go with that on those trainer boards. Also, we've got another hands-on opportunity here, and that's creating a sheet metal project, dustpan. Maybe you prefer a basic sheet metal box, or you can even go all out and make the big tool tray. All these have an opportunity to have accessories added to them, which makes it exciting, but it introduces you guys to the shop, to a plasma cutter, which is a current technology, and a design program on the computer where you get to actually draw these out yourself, and we cut them out using the plasma cutter with a CNC program. So that's another part of this class I'm excited to teach you guys about. And then another part, we're going to be looking at some of the biotechnology things that go along with agriculture these days, and all the stuff that goes with plants and animals and creating new plants and animals through gene editing and gene splicing and things like that, which is involving technology right now. We also go into nanotechnology, which is really, really, really small technology, stuff that can fit into your bloodstream. And then we also get into precision agriculture and GIS. And I'm just excited to be able to teach all that stuff to you guys, in whether it's in person, which I'm hoping that it'll be, or whether it's online. We've got lots of opportunity for you guys to learn about technology and different types of technology. And oh, I almost forgot, one last thing. You don't want to miss out on FFA. Used to be called Future Farmers of America, now it's just the National FFA organization. Great opportunity for leadership that has to do with agriculture, and lots of fun. We do lots of fun activities during the school year, during the summertime, and you might want to hear about that. In fact, I do believe there's going to be a packet that's going to be in your locker all about the FFA. So you're always welcome to come and try it out and see what it's all about, but we encourage you to join and be a part of the FFA. Looking forward to seeing you. Glad I could have this opportunity to share this video. Awesome.
All right, I know that was a lot of information that was shared with you pretty quickly. Again, rest assured, the first week of school might be a little turbulent, but after that you'll settle right into a routine and a pattern, and it's going to be a great year. We got this.